Copy.
Both mesos are enabled, so you can start them anytime.
Roger. Running.
Control, back deck, we have Hercules passing the transom.
Roger. Thank you.
ONC CTD is on. Back row, can you confirm that you've heard that?
Data confirms I've heard that, and I'm checking the data stream now.
Excellent.
When you get a chance, we can zero
Control, back
wraps.
deck, tether is all out.
Copy that.
So make sure I got,
Yeah, just
make
wait
sure I
till we're
got ship
stretched
setting.
out.
Yeah, Roger. Copy, deck.
All right, I think it looks good there.
Okay, 6-8 wrap zeroed. Tether wrap zeroed.
Copy.
Wonder what you're getting Doppler hits on.
Fish
Maybe
head.
just bubbles. What's that?
Fish head. Atalanta's coming off deck. This water column is so productive up here. Lots of critters.
Rennie, you can widen the meso.
Oh.
It's all weird.
Nope, that's what we're looking for, and only that.
I only want to look right in front.
That's only what we're looking at.
It's what, like 10 degrees?
Control, back deck, we have Atalanta away.
Atalanta away. Roger. Start your USBO.
Wow, that is a lot in the water column there for sure.
I am too bright over here. There's no need.
Ready to want to switch over?
Yeah,
Dive?
do it.
Or do you want the that one?
Oh yeah, I can turn those on.
Got those.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know. I get that. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, why? Why can't I see that?
Tracking both vehicles here.
Grounds all still look good.
Roger.
So much stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You mind if I power on the arm and then after 50 meters, just bump the valve?
Sure. Sounds good.
Oh, we're out of the pea soup, just like that.
Getting there, yeah.
Gauges seem good, now that I can see through the pea soup.
Control back deck. I'll stop at 50 meters. Control has been transferred.
Copy that.
Verify the transfer.
We've got
Copy that. We have control. Thank you.
I'm going to continue with the ship move a little bit.
Headed down, if that's okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Bridge, nav. Let's continue course on this current heading just to get a little closer to our dive site.
Stick
Thank you.
lock is missing.
Thank you.
Sorry, a little bit of a slow start here.
Yeah, no worries. I think we're all good. Back row, can we confirm that we are not doing the vertical transect down?
That is a confirm.
Free to
dive.
All right.
Okay,
Full beans.
great. Full beans.
Full beans engaged.
Okay, you're falling behind, so
Roger, going.
give her the beans.
Get rid of the beans. More beans.
More beans. It's written right in front of you.
Yeah.
Roger.
Okay, wow, that is beans. Good one.
Catching up.
Yeah.
I'll get myself sorted out eventually here. Sheesh.
Okay, you're speeding up. Okay, great.
Yep. Let her, I'm gonna leave it there, let it settle.
So Nav, it looks like you already have a path of approach for the mooring kind of thought out.
Yeah, the ship's going to move a little bit more forward, and that circle is roughly 150 meters from the target, so we'll stand off to the south 150 meters off once we get sorted at the bottom. We'll approach however the pilots on watch want to. I don't know if they like to do a stretch out or just a combination of approaching cautiously and stretching out, because we don't have that 50-meter tether. I'm not sure how they've been approaching the tall moorings.
Roger. I'll write in the notes for handover that we expect that mooring to be about 290 meters tall.
Okay, roger. Yeah, I'll pass that on as we get there, that we'll keep Hercules from pulling to the north until we get situated at the bottom.
Yeah, so far. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Is there a difference for you guys for rate of ascent or rate of descent? Assuming there's no transect.
Yeah, well, sorry, what was the last part you asked?
Assuming we're not doing any like science collection, but we're just
right. Yeah, typically we can descend faster than we can come up. It's a little bit kind of based on the vehicle design, depending on how buoyant we are, like what our ballast is for a particular dive. So oftentimes we're always playing this little ballast game of thinking through the dive and what our ballast is going to be when we're picking things up or dropping them off, and what we're going to be going into the water and what we want to be coming up. We want to always try and be a little lighter if we can, because then we can come up a little faster.
Yeah.
So typically we kind of go down at about, right now we're doing about 27 meters per minute, kind of shoot for that, and sort of 30-ish kind of max, and then on the way up we sort of come up as fast as we can come up, and typically ranges from 15 to 25 meters per minute. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, science equipment or bringing stuff back up is going to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overall.
Oh, thank you.
You know, red it is, this book.
It's just the lighting.
Yeah, I guess I have that.
Go.
Good. So good.
No vertical video.
So on pre-dive and a few times the Hercules was coming up with this super, super narrow windshield wiper thing.
Yeah.
Do I worry about saving anything to the configuration because I know that every time you do that, it screws things up.
Yeah, I never do that unless I do.
So, like, should I just like keep leaving it like that? It's just like one more thing you have to deal with.
You can close it and reopen it.
We just did and it came up the same way. It just keeps coming up like
With the NA161 preset?
think so. I don't know the answer to that.
Maybe someone saved over the NA161 preset.
Possibly. So does that, like, if that's the one we're using, that means we have to save over it again with the current settings.
Yeah, I guess. Weird. One of those backwards. That didn't used to bother me at all, and now it does.
You don't like the...
Yeah, it's like it's treading water.
Wait, what's backwards?
They were going, one on the left was going
Oh.
NASCAR.
Well, now that you pointed it out to me, it's gonna bother me forever.
Yeah.
How do you fix that?
There's a scan reverse button.
Oh.
So the tether deployment went really well. I guess you were there, Josh. You weren't there, talking about how to put the tether on the transom when we laid it.
Oh, not when you laid it, but yeah, I was there when we were talking about it.
Put it coming out of the van side, going down the road.
Yeah.
Right versus what we're doing. Yeah, we basically have to just hide right up the tower and get the rest right. I've always put it where we stood, Mark. I would say down and out. So like standing out.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, squid.
Cool little silhouette there.
Yeah. We have some friends joining us on our journey down.
Oh, he's
Oh, yeah.
back. Oh, he's putting on a show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, they're multiple.
Must be the squid lair.
Wow, there's tons. The 180 looks like it's got a bit of dirt on it.
Yeah, got a little squid kiss there. It's funny to see the fish just like racing down with us, right?
I know. That's unexpected.
I know, it's not great, but there's so much lag. Oh my god. It hurts. Especially hard to slow down. Oh, really? Yeah, I find it super hard to slow down. Slap. If you were playing with the other one though, maybe. They're probably quite different. It's turning on deck lights out there? Was it wired thing? In and out of low light mode? Yeah, totally. There must be like that much light out there.
Did you do any more processing on your map? I saw the rough cut. It looked awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of left it at that for now. I've got a few things that are that could be obvious to take out, but anything more than that is going to require really crawling in there and taking time.
It looked great though. Looks
Yeah, it was
super
really cool.
I got the show and tell a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
I think Trevor had the idea of 3D printing them, which sounds kind of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at how to convert that to something that's 3D printable.
When I finished my thesis, one of my lab mates 3D printed the map that I made for my thesis, a
awesome.
shipwreck.
That's
Dave did
great.
it.
Do you still have it? That sounds great.
I don't. It's, you know, lost to the ages of moving 1 trillion times
Mm-hmm.
over 10 years.
I had a similar thing. My friend that I worked with on a project in the Arctic Scott Sorensen. He was in the computer vision lab, more on the computer science side. And when I was finishing, I had him help me with a point cloud visual fly through thing in a better software so it would look really pretty. And then, so he had the data, and then when I finished my talk, Oculus Rift was just coming out.
Oh, cool.
And so he set up my thesis, my rock glacier, and then it was set up as a first-person shooter, so I shot tennis balls at it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
He's like, here you go.
Oh, that's really good.
These tennis balls are bouncing off it. But it was like an early iteration of Oculus Rift, so it was very nauseating. I was like, I'm going to throw up. I got to
Mine was like what, I think Dave used like one of the first 3D printers he could get his hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say 10 years ago, and that's,
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a thesis defense, though, to like tell your committee to.
Yeah, I was like, why didn't you?
First Oculus. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Why didn't you tell me before the talk? I would have incorporated it now at the end. All right, everyone, step up.
Yeah, instant pass.
Yeah. Shout out to the University of Delaware.
When did you finish, Rennie? When did you graduate?
My master's 2014.
Do you guys remember much about the experience? Was like thesis defense like nightmarish for you? Did you have like supportive committees?
I remember I actually did the presentation for the thesis, like the actual PowerPoint and everything. I did the 24 hours prior to the presentation, and I didn't have any notes. I just went up and talked because if I had notes, I would fumble
I'm too uptight when I have notes too. I do much better riffing.
I was like, I either have to read notes or just riff. So.
My people were pretty low key too.
It was like standard, like 3 professors, one was the advisor, like that kind of thing. Gotcha.
Yeah, mine was just the master's thesis, so it was a little less rigorous than the PhD kind of. The questions were appropriate for the level that I was at. It wasn't like closed doors after and grilling. It was kind of like all right there.
Yeah.
Bridge nav.
My comps were a lot worse. My comps were a lot more exhausting.
Yeah.
And at the end, I can't remember whether this was comps or my dissertation defense. At the end, I was just doing some sonar equation stuff, which is just addition, subtraction. Like, it's not that bad. At some point, I had to multiply 25 by 25, and I like stepped away from the whiteboard to look at it and was like, I can't do this. And so the person who asked me the question did the multiplication for me, because like that wasn't the point of the question. Like, obviously I can multiply. And like that was the last thing, and like I was super embarrassed, and I walked out and they deliberate for a while, and like I walked back in and they're like, well, you passed, but like we were really thinking we might ask you your name for the last question, but thought that might be a little unfair. Like that's actually what they said to me. So they were like a pretty good bunch of jokesters.
I can't do simple addition or multiplication. Like, I think I have a mental block from back. I can work through, like back in like, elementary school, I would work through the problems. I couldn't memorize. I still am not good at memorization. So like all the kids were like had all the stuff memorized, and they would finish the whole sheet.
Yeah,
and I was working through the problems.
You were like multiplying every time. Yeah.
So then I still have a mental block from a lot of that stuff. I can't.
I'm not a big mental math person either.
Yeah.
I do remember being like horrified by comps though, because it was that like memorization, content knowledge, and like I didn't have the confidence for thesis defense. I felt great because I was like,
you knew you're the subject, subject matter expert. Right. I felt like my comps were a lot of it was a lot of problem solving. I think I worked a lot from first principles. It didn't feel as much like memorization. It was like working through ideas
Yeah.
a lot. About, like, you remember that, how you were describing, like, how to properly characterize change and at what resolution you can do it. Like, that's a lot of, like, you can do some math on it, but that's pretty hand-wavy as well. Like,
Yeah.
you have to understand the concepts, and it would be, like, questions like that.
Error.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what, I just realized that my strengths are more like problem solving than any kind of memorization or even like working here, there'll be stuff where it's like a lot of stuff is super like deeply documented, and I don't tend to go there first, and I should.
You
I'm
mean
like, oh, I can figure this out.
read the instructions?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need to read the instructions, Rennie.
Yeah, yeah. But then that's also a fault, because then I'll figure something out and I won't document it, and then someone else will have the same problem.
Did you guys feel like you, this is for, for everyone who, as we reminisce on grad school, like, did you handle the transition from undergrad to grad well, knowing that? Because like undergrad was like exams and learning new things, but not as much research. And then grad school was like the playground, right? Like the sandbox, and that can be like overwhelming as well.
I thought it was more of a relief. I liked it.
Yeah.
Although they had to peel me away from coursework. My advisor was like, please stop taking courses, you need to finish. And I'm like, I'm not done. There's so many, there's all these things that I can just take them for free. And he's like, no, you have to finish.
Your thesis is not going to rate itself.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was a miserable undergrad student. I was so bad at it.
Yeah, same.
Like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't study. I couldn't show up for class.
Yeah.
I couldn't do any of it. And when I got to grad school, it was like, oh, this is fun. Like,
Yeah.
I can do this. I was hard and it was miserable. And like, ultimately, I did not go to academia. But yeah, it was a relief after undergrad.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for undergrad, when like my first couple of years when I was like trying to figure out, like I was bouncing through majors, I was, believe it or not, everybody.
This is how you become a geography major, is you bounce through 800 majors.
Yeah.
And at the end, they're like, you have to graduate now. And you're like, but I don't have a major. And they're like, well, if you add up all the points, you get geography.
I beg to differ. I went in directly for a geography.
You went directly to geography.
I landed on it after a couple of years, but I started out in business school and I just had a lot of trouble going to courses. I thought I wanted to do finance.
Geography is great for people who are interested in everything.
Yeah.
I feel that way about oceanography too, because it's so
Yeah.
multidisciplinary.
Yeah. Agreed. What'd you study?
Oceanography and ocean technology.
Did you really?
Yeah, and then
Amber.
film school as well.
Are you on SPL, Amber?
I am. Am I really quiet?
I hear you.
No, I can hear you.
What the heck is going on? Okay.
You studied ocean science
I
and
did.
ocean tech. Where'd you go to school?
You are
UW.
where you belong.
UW.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's how I found out about Nautilus. And
No kidding.
and
Oh,
came
that's really
along
cool.
as an intern.
That is awesome. But you ended up in film.
Well, I started in film and studied that first.
Oh,
and
okay.
worked in production and wanted to kind of do both.
Okay.
And so that's why
Yeah,
I was
so
looks like you nailed it.
Here I am.
Yeah, stuck the landing.
Yeah.
Did you work for a bit first and then go to grad school? Are you?
So I actually went to film school, then worked, and then, oh gosh, like 8 years or so, and then went, because film school is so different from, the science and I ended up doing a Bachelor of Science.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very slick way to extract our origin stories, Brandon.
Yeah, doing
Man,
that-
he's good.
doing that
Yeah.
work.
Very slick.
We didn't want to talk.
It's the
got
end
us.
of our watch.
He got us.
We want to go to bed. Oh, you want me to talk about how hard grad school
Yeah, let me bring
was?
up some
I could
trauma
talk
real
about
quick.
that all day.
11:30 is the right time for that.
I saw a lot of 11:30s in grad school, 12:30s, and 1:30s.
Yeah, my
And
thing was when I was in
2:30s.
my office, if at some point I could time it right, on my walk home, I would go down I would pass through the main street and there was a Dunkin' there. And if you timed it right, they were making the new donuts, which meant they were giving away the old donuts.
Stop.
So I'd
it.
go in casually, like I didn't do it every other night. And I was like, I'll just have one blueberry donut. And they're like, okay. And they'd give me like a box of whatever else they had. Like we.
Oh, that's amazing.
Here's Rennie again, not even reaching for his wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finally asked. Like, oh,
I didn't know this was a paid transaction. Thought we were pals.
I didn't get to do that. I had a jar of peanut butter in my desk drawer, and somewhere around midnight, I would realize that I hadn't eaten dinner,
Yeah.
and I'd have a few spoonfuls of peanut butter.
Because we were like often in the field, I would have like, I definitely kept my sleeping pad and sleeping bag in the office. And
Oh, yeah, take naps in the office,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely would, if it was a late night, I'd stay there.
Your speed is...
Huh? I was so stable there for the longest time.
I know.
We're going down to approximately 2150, give or take, because we're not landing quite on the site, but it's in the general vicinity of that.
Well, that'll be nice for the next watch.
Yeah, I will pass that along to them.
That'll I love that for them.
Yeah.
That sounds neat.
Neat.
Amber, what was your favorite thing that you studied when you went for oceanography school? And ocean
So
tech?
I had a unique program that they were kind of just piloting, which was the ocean technology specific degree. So it ends up being like oceanography and ocean technology. So I actually got to make remote sensing instruments. And so I was talking to Rennie about, you know, if I ever dabbled a dream of going to grad school, it would probably be in more of that remote sensing world. And so
Do it.
yeah.
Join the remote sensors.
Yeah. So my final project was making an instrument to kind of see how much phytoplankton was in the water, but from the surface. And so the idea is to do near shore to see if there's going to be an algal bloom or something, and using a drone or something equivalent. The thing that got me that I couldn't figure out a way around was the glint. It worked great on a cloudy day, but
when you had glare, it was game over. Yeah. That is the...
That's tough for a visible light sensor, yeah.
Yeah. Did you try like polarizing and things like that? And nothing.
Yeah. Varying results. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to stump one of those those cameras because I did a lot of computer vision work, and you just like you can't get the same result twice. It's so hard.
If I can make a plug for you to definitely go back to grad school, I will say this much. I went back and just got an extra master's recently.
Just a spare.
Yeah,
just
a
a backup.
Yeah.
In case the first one breaks down.
Is it a full-size spare?
Needed just a sheet of paper.
I think it was. After you say this plug, you're going to have to tell us what it was in.
Sure. But I was really nervous because of, like, we are adults and managing time, but your competition is 20-year-olds. So, like, you have to, like, there's a calibration to how much better you are at multitasking and not panicking about reading a paper. Like, all the things that we thought were so difficult, now we love, right? And it's like, oh, I can't wait to take petrology, right? Or something like this, where you're like, cool, I've always wanted to learn that. And every other student in there is like, oh, I have to wake up for this class,
yeah, people
right?
used to dread petrology and mineralogy back when I was in undergrad, I remember. They're like the ones you have to get through.
Yeah. So I think you'll find like...
Well, and I felt that when I went back because I had already been, working.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
You're...
And I did much better. Just because I was ready for it.
Yeah, I think I'd do so much better as a bachelor student now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if we were, if we had gym class right now, like I'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
If,
Oh,
like
it'd be
someone
the
told
best.
me like I could just go exercise for a little bit as part of my day, like that'd be great.
You have to. You have to go play volleyball with
Yeah.
your buddies.
Right, precisely, right? Like, so yeah, it felt, going back felt so easy and so natural. And yeah, the hours kind of stink and like balancing a work schedule, but like you're there for classes you actually care about. You've
Yeah.
chosen to be there.
In my undergrad, I went into undergrad in my mid-20s, so a little bit older than most people.
Yeah.
And I had to be reined in by my academic advisor, who had to sit me down and say I was doing too much. I had to pick a new elective for the semester to fill my course load, and he looked at all the courses I'd taken. He said, "Where's all your electives?" I'm like, "Those are my electives." He's like, 400 level geology classes are your electives? I was
Well,
like,
listen,
yeah,
people have fun
plate
in different
tectonics-
ways,
plate
okay?
tectonics is fine. He's like, "What about like film studies or, some sort of like, gender and sexuality course?" I was like, "But what about organic chemistry?"
Have you considered more rocks?
He made me take a 300 level music class.
Oh.
Yeah, broaden your horizons. I like it.
It
Did-
did. I now know way too much about the Beatles.
Oh,
You
interesting.
can't,
Like a
you
music
can't
history
know
class.
too much.
There are those who would say you can't know too much.
That's my...
Are you one of those people who say
Yeah.
you can't know too much about the Beatles?
Yep. Always
Thoughts on the
learning.
new song? New old song? I feel like it's...
Of the
I think
three
it's
new ones that they did back in the 90s, and then they rejected this one, I think it was probably the lesser of the three, but it was cool to bring back.
It felt
But
like
I
a
can
big
see
moment.
why they didn't include it in the anthology when they were doing that in the 90s.
Yeah, it felt like a big moment. Trevor always keeps track of exactly what songs come out all the time. He'll be like, "Guess who just released a song?" And I'm like, "You got to give me something more than that."
Maybe you guys are trivia
So many
night.
right answers.
He's like, "It's a really big deal that they released a song now." I was like, "Oh, I bet it's the Beatles." And yeah, it felt pretty cool. That it was like, it felt like buried treasure because like we didn't have access to it in a way.
I'm more excited for the probable remix and remasters of the other two ones that they did in the 90s with John's voice. Because I really like those two.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. I feel like I've learned a lot on this blue water about you guys. Cool. Good work, Brandon.
He's got us again.
Yeah, you got us.
He's just puppeteering in the back. He's got like checklists of, okay, we've covered music. Let's steer this way.
It's a light touch.
Kaiser Soze back there.
So what was your second degree?
It was in fact geology.
Okay.
Yeah, and so chemistry originally, and
Thank you for remembering to bring that up.
I felt like I did not appreciate how fantastic geology was for so long, and like I think it got such a bad rap too. Like especially when I was in undergrad, it was rocks for jocks, right?
Oh,
That's what
rocks,
it was called,
though.
right? It was like the science requirement class that was just supposed to be the easy one. And now I'm like, this is not only incredibly difficult, but so wide-ranging, so cool. And yeah, it wasn't until I kind of like fell into some research projects that were geology-based that I was like, oh crap, I've got to go back to school. Like I don't know any of this.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, it's been a cool kind of second career move.
And you live out west, right?
Yeah, in LA. Yep.
I just took my first trip to Death Valley.
Oh, that's where my research is. Actually.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. That place is mind blowing, and
Yeah,
there's
it
like
is
a
wild
lake.
there.
There's a lake there right now. It's an ephemeral lake, but like we waded in it, and like
that's one of those places where you go and you're like, oh, geology. Like, I wish I could read this book. Like, the Earth looks like an open book, and you just don't speak the language yet.
I always preferred geomorphology within the geologic, like just the physical processes and landforms and
Yeah, how things
how
change.
they change over time.
That's the, yeah, I'm with you on that. And I
Yeah.
love rivers within that. Like, 'cause
Yeah,
you can just
fluvial
watch them.
geomorphology.
Yeah.
I love that course. It was
I
so
just
cool.
love saying it.
Yeah, I love
I
that
just
one.
say it all the time.
Like just
You
river
guys, my
meandering over
favorite
time. And
class in
yeah.
undergrad. It was fluvial geomorphology.
Yeah.
Always trying to measure change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the good stuff.
it's probably unsurprising that was my favorite branch, because now still mapping, still assessing change.
But think how like plate tectonics was finally established in the 50s, right? Like our grandparents didn't know this.
Yeah, I mean, talking with Dr. Ballard about what he learned versus then what came to be accepted was kind of interesting.
Yeah, this is like still, it's wild that we're talking about something so old and is still such a novel field in so many ways, right?
Yeah.
The latest big thing for California, right? Which is, you know, a wild place for geology, just, you know,
Yeah,
historically
it's
speaking.
super amazing.
Is like the, you know, it's kind of cool to be in British Columbia because of the Baja BC hypothesis, right? That like
Say more.
California didn't exist 150 million years ago. It's effectively a Japan-like, you know, island structure that crashed into the western United States and slid up, right? And so like you see these rocks in British Columbia on the west side of the San Andreas Fault that exist in southern Mexico on the east side.
Oh,
Right, and
really?
these-
And they're just covered by California everywhere else?
Yeah, this, you know, the mountains of California are the remnants of that continental crash.
Wow.
And it's just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is something we figured out a couple years ago, right? This is still
That's
being
very
like
cool.
hotly debated. It's just wild. How is Earth so old and so hard to kind of put together?
Yeah, how so hard to untangle all
know.
those bits.
Yeah, what I really like about some of the work that we do towards this in the remote Pacific is understanding using hotspots and seamount chains, etc., of like reconstructing plate movement over time, and it's not always in the same direction, and then like there's a turn, and then kind of by getting dates of these seamounts and understanding how they all move over time, I don't know, it's rewarding to be a part of that, but the time frame is like, all right, it's like you bring it up on deck, it's like rocks, it's like awesome, and then like, when are we gonna know? It's like, not for a while.
We had one of the scientists on one of those cruises go through like what it takes to get like thin sections of her rocks.
Yeah.
And it's just like months and months of preparation for each sample.
Yeah, but then you get the good stuff, right? You get to look through the petrographic scope, and you like can see these individual minerals, right? And it's like, man, this is wild that you can follow how many times is it metamorphosed, or, you know, you can age date, these zircons and that, right? I mean, again, just to kind of point, like, how did geology get such a bad rap?
Yeah.
You know?
And geomorph, like looking at seamounts, guyots are flat seamounts, flat top seamounts, and so it's generally, you know, been generally understood like, okay, one of the ways, most likely way that they're formed is they were once at the surface, they were then eroded into eventually an atoll and then a reef, and then subsided just based on the weight back, you know, back down into the water. But when you go and dive on some of these, which we're doing more and more, there's not always carbonate at the top. So some of these were never, some of them, there's not a lot of indication that they were ever at the surface, but they are still flat So then you get to like, well, how flat? Are they flat enough to have ever been up? And maybe they weren't, and maybe because there's no indication of like carbonate, then maybe it was just always flat. And like, okay, well, what forms that versus the pointy one right next to it? You know, it's cool stuff.
Do they like, not, you know, not age date empirically, but like relatively speaking, based off like the thickness of the carbonate cap or like erosion, or how do you know how old the Guyute is?
I don't know beyond the dating methods if there's been any kind of dating from the methods that you just mentioned, but that's beyond my knowledge. That's not to say that they don't.
Yeah, I mean, all my rocks are dry, so I'm
Yeah.
in fact the driest in Death Valley, right?
Yeah, I love Death Valley. I was I drove out to the racetrack and got 2 flat tires.
Oh no.
So one was flat and the other was a slow leak. I had picked up some hitchhikers on the way in. we had a time, and then I managed to catch a Jeeper. So I changed one tire, and then the other one was slow leaking. He filled it up, and it took us like 2+ hours to drive in on the racetrack road. And this is a road that I got 2 flat tires on. It's very sharp rocks.
Yeah.
And he's like, you probably got an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get out. And I was like, all right. And so we were just flying out of there. I was like, can't stop for anything. And then like every 20 minutes, I'd like stop and we'd all get out and take a look at the tires and just gun it. Finally got to the road, and like then when you get to the main road, then you have to make it all the way to the only gas station in the park. It's the whole thing. I ended up getting towed to Vegas. It's a whole thing.
Oh wow.
It was fun though.
Yeah, great trip.
Yeah, it was kind of fun in the end. And the racetrack, like that whole area is just awesome, and like theorized of like how that landform came to be and like the moving rocks. And it was only recently that that phenomenon was actually observed, because one of the people studying it happened to be there when all of those weather events happened. Just enough rain, freezing over, and then enough wind to blow the rocks on the ice. That's the racetrack. It's
I was wondering what you meant by racetrack. Okay.
yeah, that's what it's like, the area where these rocks and they have trails behind them. So then they're like, but they don't go in straight lines. They like move in different directions, because over time, depending on the wind patterns, it would have moved them in different directions. And then there's another thing where people are like, well, some of them are gone. People stole it. It's vandalism. But it's like, not if there's ice that's doing it, like chunks of ice. So
they're chunks of ice and then they melt.
Yeah.
It's like,
so then
they're not stolen. They're just melted.
There's a racetrack, or there's this track with nothing there at the end.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a wild place. There's a bunch of processes at work that you don't see elsewhere. The ephemeral lake moves, like migrates.
But you must have been there pretty recently, because the lake's only been around for a little bit now.
Yeah, I was there in March, I think.
I haven't gone there yet since I moved, so I'll need to.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Where do you live
in
now?
LA now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there's a trail marathon that's through Death Valley, and I want to do that. And that's December 3rd, I think.
Are you a big long distance runner?
I try.
Oh, that's awesome. There's also an ultra marathon through Death Valley that's in like July.
Yeah, no thank you.
Unclear. Like and it goes from Death Valley to like a real high point in California, I think. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, but you know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy from like how the proximity of Mount Whitney and Death Valley is like.
Yeah, I think it might go to Mount Whitney, but don't quote me on that.
I love driving on the Eastern Sierra Scenic Byway. It's 395, I think. 395. I love that road.
Yeah, the Inyos. I was just up there camping, and yeah, I mean, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just got a bunch of pictures from the Inyos. My cousin was out there.
Like, and yeah, it looks beautiful. Like ancient bristlecone
Yeah, the
pine
Yeah, the
forest. Is
bristlecone,
that what
yeah.
it is?
Oldest trees. I mean, these gnarled, odd-looking trees are just the oldest trees on record. Everyone goes to see the redwoods, and which I get, right? But like
Yeah.
these just wild, surviving, you know, the Methuselah trees of
Yeah.
nature.
Methuselah trees. That's great.
That was the name of the one that, you guys know that story where there's a grad student who was out in the field.
Oh my gosh, where is this
The,
going?
the core broke in the
Oh
tree.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
then
so he's like, I'm just gonna cut
I'm
it
going
down.
to cut it down, and
Yeah.
then counting the rings, it was the oldest tree.
Living creature ever.
But then that person became a professor
Oh yeah,
in the field, yeah.
cool.
It's a whole Wikipedia article on it.
Yeah, I've read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's kind
imagine
of
like
devastating.
that's what you
really.
study,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, I got to get this date, and my core broke. I'll chop down the oldest tree, what will turn out to be the oldest tree.
Ever.
Because you didn't know.
Yeah.
Dendrochronology.
Cool. Good. Good word.
Helped out with a friend who was doing some climate by proxy on glacial moraines of tree cores and establishing dates of climate patterns with the alpine trees. It's cool.
Neat.
That sounds very fancy for I was just out in the field like drilling into a tree and then giving them the thing to do something. Here you go. Here's this pencil-sized thing.
Here's a little number 2 pencil with the number 2.
Yep.
For you to fill in your little Scantron.
Right.
It does remind me, though, like how beautiful California and other places next to parks. So, like the parks are great, but go to the places next to the parks.
Yeah.
There's so much fewer people, and it's just like untouched and gorgeous. And yeah, that's the Inyos for me. Like driving up 395, there's
June
so
Lake.
many places to stop. Yeah.
June Lake, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just starting to get to know California.
We're gonna put together a little list. We're gonna get a
Yeah.
little Google Doc for you. Whitney is still on my climb list. I'm 0 for 6 in years applying for the permit.
Is it a lottery?
Yeah, yeah. But I'll admit, this year when I didn't get it, I was actually quite happy. I've not been in shape or exercising, so that was
It's
that was
a
good
tough one.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but I have a friend that was talking about being a little bit untrained and attempting it, and that was a bad idea.
What's their version of untrained, though? Is it everybody else is like super trained version?
It was in early 20s, so they were probably fine. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Oh, so glad we got to talk about rocks, guys. Well, now I'm going to be up all night, though.
Yeah. I keep wanting to do a podcast about rocks with Dr. Val Finlayson. We're talking about a new one called Isotope Stories. So,
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I was having a different
Isotomes.
conversation. I missed the whole conversation about
Where are you going with that?
rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
A tome.
40 minutes of geology.
Yeah, tome is a book.
Yeah, Tome is a big book. Yeah.
So isotome.
Is it-
So it'd be like you could
Isolated
talk
big
a
book.
big talk.
Oh,
I can't really
it's
relate
really
talking
close.
to it. Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Encyclopedic something.
We need to push OET for the next like forum that they do. You know, like this should be like a working meeting for like California camp trip or something like that. We gotta make the move somewhere cool and go hang out in our you know, kind of our happy place. As much as I love being at, you know, Rhode Island and eating at the Chili's.
I think they did Hawaii this year.
Yeah, the Honolulu one was nice.
Yeah.
It made sense being that so many of our SCF team is like, you know, so international. So flying across country didn't logistically make so much sense. Do you guys have like a similar pre-expedition season kind of tag up, or is you guys just given the schedule?
Well, the pilots or the ROV engineers are working on the vehicles in the off season. So.
Well, I guess our tag up is kind of shakedown.
Yeah.
That's sort of our.
Yeah, shakedown.
We start every season with what we call a shakedown cruise, which is like an engineering cruise where we come out and everyone tests all their stuff and calibrates and checks everything.
Integrate the new stuff, the changes.
But with all like the, you know, wild new tech, that's not a long get-together process?
It's usually like about, well, this year was about a week.
Week at sea,
okay.
yeah. And then there's like some pre-mobilization associated with that. And depending on what projects are being done, some of that starts months prior, others you arrive a week prior, and some people just drop in for the shakedown. And
Rock stars.
Yeah.
I think the last couple of years I've spent more time on the ship when we're not sailing than I have.
I would believe that, knowing your schedule.
Definitely good to get in the seat again.
Yeah.
Shake the rust off.
That was all fine. No rust.
So many freaking keyboards.
Try keyboard number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another one over here. You want to try this one?
We do have a lot of keyboards up here, huh?
We've grown in keyboards.
Yeah, it's getting to be a lot. But when we didn't have as many, I was sad that we didn't have enough.
Yeah,
so I don't.
It's actually okay. We just have to get used to it.
I kind of want, no, maybe I don't, but like a little table, and on top of that is the second one. So this bottom one you can slide out, and you got 2, and then you can.
We do that downstairs in the shop, and I'm always on the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm like,
because they're physically.
Oh, I am always,
location.
always on the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see all yours are wired. We did a job in March, and there was a bunch of wireless
and they're
keyboards
all, oh
in
my
there.
gosh, they end up everywhere.
Well, every time we would use the radio to talk to the winch, it would end up like clicking a bunch of things on high pack and scrolling the screen and closing windows. It was like wreaking havoc. We thought about getting tinfoil out and like wrapping it.
Speaking of that, I should probably check on. Well, this is. Just close all this stuff. Get out of there.
Yeah, let's throw that away.
Yep, don't need that. I shouldn't need perception, but I will keep. I'm gonna restart the navigation, just in case I have to.
Are you orbiting like all the time?
No, but the navigation I'd like to run all the time because that's his integrated solution.
Right. Yeah. Where you get both the predicted and the.
Especially, I mean, for the unknowns of when I have to clarify about with the photogrammetry, like I don't know if it's in their protocol to ensure that that is running. If it needs to be running, I'm sure it would make it better than if they use just the DVL position, you know, versus. Oh, I think I could just do that. Should be fine then. Just run that. So, yeah, so there's his solution. It doesn't work well in the water column before we get DVL.
Right.
It starts to hone in, but
That's not too bad though.
no, it gets there, but there's times like in the water, like when we're coming up, it just runs away. And sometimes on descent, it's a little weird when really it's like, if your only good input right now is USBL, you should probably just be at the USBL, not
Yeah,
like trying
right.
to do something else, you know, like with vector, you know, like movement.
Predicting.
Yeah, predicting, I don't know. There it is, that's good.
Oh, the res has a different gauge, doesn't it? 5. Yeah.
Different scale.
Yeah, totally. It goes 5. Major ticks at 5, then 7.5. Okay. That's why that number looked wrong.
It's like 4 something right now. No, sorry,
It's
it's
at
like
6.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just you just told me.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I just
and
went,
then you did the
and
exact
then I
same
did-
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Okay. Yeah.
I wrote down 3.5, and I'm like, that is low. That is not good, but it's fine. It's not low.
No, it's fine. It's got oil in it. That's it. That's all we need to know.
You could just replace it with a light that's either green or red.
Yeah. Or green and red.
Right. Real.
I don't know. It would be a synagogue for me.
Yeah,
I've never
Exactly. That was my comment. I wouldn't know.
Oh, I've been in a lot of churches. I haven't been to church. Yeah. Yeah, it smells like the wood of the pews. Yeah. Do they taste like church or do they just smell like church?
Taste.
Why were you gnawing on the pews? Not hungry in church. It's working. Working real good, guys.
Yo.
Check, check, check. You know, the beacon's not being pinged yet, is it?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, that's its last. Or no, that's where we think we
yeah.
dropped the mooring. We have it. There's no beacon on the mooring. There's a beacon on the seafloor where we're aiming for the. Right. But the. No.
Sweet.
But we can put it up if that's of interest. But the one that was on the mooring, they was on a line that got recovered, I guess. Right.
Ooh.
I think that's 2408.
I broke it.
There you are.
Ooh, yeah, right there.
How's it feel, Jake?
Good.
Not sticking at
A
6?
lot better. It'll occasionally stick at like 3,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's so much better. Like I have to like really try
That's
to do
a
it.
DVL track, but I don't know when or why.
So you felt that little click if you go all the way to the right?
So yeah, it's a little. There's a little bit there,
I don't think point 3.
but that just goes. That just goes away.
Sure,
Yeah.
give me just 1 sec.
Drift.
So much better.
It's like an old Xbox controller.
That's where they think it was on the seafloor based on the beacon that they had on the mooring.
Going down at 32, huh?
They lowered it with the beacon, but then recovered the beacon on the line.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Need it for my Celsius.
There you go.
Okay.
Ask and you shall receive.
Whatever.
If you have a Nautilus mug, you can like pour that into so you don't have an open container in the van. Sounds like you're opening a freaking beer. Why is it that every time I come up here, this whole station is different? Yeah, there we go. That's what I need. Hey, look. We're not in flute mode. That's the first. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Danny.
Good morning.
Morning.
Whoa.
Good
Nico,
morning.
are you going to be our dive lead today?
Just for the next 5 minutes or so.
Wow, what a treat.
I know.
I'm thrilled.
Pretty special.
Have we decided what you're changing your name to, Nico?
Wait, why does he have to change his name?
We decided our names sound too similar, and I keep hearing her name and thinking people are talking to me.
And vice versa.
So I actually
Yuko,
told Yuko
Yuko.
she had to change her name, and she's kind of throwing it back at me.
Oh.
Who's older?
Oh, that would be me.
Sorry, he had it first.
Yeah. Make a great point.
Okay, I feel like we should do a wager of some sort. I don't like this, like, oh, I'm older, I've had it for longer kind of deal.
Oh.
That's usually how it works, though.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
Don't you have siblings?
I do have siblings. But
Yeah.
in my household, it was whoever was strongest.
Well, maybe that's how this needs to be
You
settled
want to go with
then.
that one, too.
I don't want to go with that
A
one.
physical fight.
Arm
Ooh,
wrestling.
easy llama.
Let's see an arm wrestling contest. We'll do a simple thumb war.
I think the only diplomatic solution to this is if we both change our names.
Okay.
What if you guys
I'm
combine?
going to change mine to Yuko.
What if you guys combine your names and then like mix them up? So like it could be like.
Hold on, that would just be Yuko and.
Nico, Yuko. Nico, Nico.
It's the same.
It'd be the same.
Oh man.
It's funny because you guys work for the same company.
Yes, different offices though.
Oh yeah, you guys have that separation between operations.
What are your names backwards?
Oaken.
Oaken.
OQ?
OQ.
Now that just sounds Japanese.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. What do our viewers think? Do you guys either have nicknames?
Name the back row.
Yeah.
Yeah, my nickname is Sneaky. That's what my family calls me.
That's so funny. My sister was nicknamed Sneaky, but in Russian, kind of. The word is hitraya, and it means like a sneaky little fox.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so are you sneaky?
We could.
I'm pretty quiet.
Oh.
We could just go like military style and just use your last names.
Oh.
You're Bailey?
Bailey.
Yuko, what's your last name?
Lynn.
See, you just said Yuko, and I swear you said my name. I just said it.
Bailey and Lynn are also. Bailey and Lynn are both like first names on their own.
Yeah, they are. Perfect.
Done.
We'll just call you Bailey from now on.
Deal.
That's gonna be hard to remember.
I know. Nico's already stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I'll get it unstuck.
It's funny. I always forget people's names, like unless I work directly with them for a period of time. Like if I meet someone, I'll forget their name within 5 minutes of having that conversation. But if you work with them and you talk to them continuous for like a few days by themselves or a few hours, it sticks in. So
Yeah, I need a lot of repetition in my life. It's where things is like.
you know,
And just like that, I'm gone.
Before that, Bailey, comment, Bailey and Lynn are the best cop duo ever made.
There we go.
Yeah. I feel like you guys would be a great cop duo.
It'll be a sitcom.
What are our personalities for it?
Are you a bad cop or are you a good cop?
I don't know. We must got a trade-off, right?
I think it's a trade-off situation.
I think you're a bad cop.
I think I'm bad cop too.
Yeah, I feel like Nico is like a gray area sneaky guy. So he might sympathize with the bad guys here and there. But
oh, yeah. Play both sides.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you know
now
what
we
we're
got a
doing
show.
on this dive? Moorings, plugging in a mooring, and then doing the same thing we did last night, just opposite. Well, yesterday morning, I should say.
All of the dives are starting to blend together for me.
All right. Enjoy, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Bailey.
Bye, Bailey.
I feel like this would be a really good mouse.
All right, about 100 meters up bottom.
Video people
Okay,
always
should I go
calls
to
me
manual?
Sunshine. Tammy always calls me Sunshine.
Cute.
Aww.
That's cute.
Go into manual control.
Lots of sunshine personalities on this cruise.
We also have a sunshine nickname in my family. My dad's mom used to call my mom Solnichka, which means little ray of sunshine.
That's cute.
Isn't it? I feel like I want to name something Solnichka, not
Switching to
necessarily a
Divya.
person, but just something.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Reset.
Too bad we can't recalibrate this joystick.
Alright.
It like goes from like 20 to 36 in like a couple degrees.
If you're just joining the stream, we are diving at Endeavour, but we are at a site called RC North, Regional Circulation North, and we are here to plug in a mooring that we deployed during our deck operations this morning. So oftentimes on our ONC Abyss cruises, we do a lot of deck work during the day when there's a lot of sunlight and do our dives in the evening when we don't need any sunlight. Yeah, so the goal tonight would be today, I guess it's morning, to plug in the mooring that was deployed.
Encoding. I'm not Steph, but usually it's the encoding. It's
The target depth we're hitting tonight is 2,177 meters below the surface of the ocean. That is the deepest target, and the other target that we are diving towards is 2,146 meters beneath the surface of the ocean.
What is that in distance across the land? Is it runnable?
All right, I'll stop on the winch.
I'll stop at the winch at 31 meters.
You would measure everything.
Back up a bit, and then you should be able to turn on auto heading and bring Atalanta's heading around.
How many hippopotamuses is it?
Auto heading right here? Because we don't have any tether raptors right now. Which way are you going to point?
I think we're heading north, so
So point Atalanta north?
yep.
Okay, coming around.
So doing a round around the control room tonight. This morning we have Johan on navigation, Jake on Hercules, Danny on Atalanta. We have Anna as our video engineer, Steph as our data logger, AJ as our watch lead, and myself, Yuko, in the science communications fellow seat. And you can ask us any questions or write in on nautiluslive.org as well. How many bananas deep are you going?
Well, banana is about 8 inches, so how many bananas in a meter?
I feel like the viewers should calculate that out and let us know.
I'm just Googling
Like
how many.
4 bananas in a meter.
Is there 4 bananas?
So we're
really, no way, those
80.
seems like big bananas. I feel like a banana is probably like, what, like
6 inches?
So 6 bananas in a meter?
I would say 5. Let's call it a happy medium.
Why did it be so difficult? All right, then we're 1,000. Then we're 10,000 bananas deep.
10,000 bananas.
10,000 bananas under the sea.
Yeah. 10,000 bananas under the sea.
You want more payout?
Yeah, let's go down to the bottom.
Yuko, what did you say the total depth was? The deepest depth?
The deepest depth we are going, according to the dive plan, is 2,177 meters.
Yeah, 1.35 miles, totally runnable.
I'll give you a 20-meter delta.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's nice to see the seafloor.
Mm-hmm.
I told him he had to make 2. All right, we should do a gauge check. Bring it up.
What do we got? We got red 6. Main is 3.5. But motor is 8. Craft is 7. That's 6.5 is closer to it. Termination is 6.5. Toaster is 6.5. Our res is at 94%.
So to the viewer who is wondering why the C-tube feed is 18 seconds behind the YouTube stream, just found the answer for you. The delay is because the video stream has to get recorded and then streamed through Wowza. So it just takes a little longer to reach the ONC side of things. And thanks Greg on shore for answering that. Greg is one of our shore support tonight for this dive.
What's this target?
That's like, it's like 20 meters south of
Oh, okay.
that, so
Nice.
just where Adam might go.
Hey, are we gonna stop and do white balance?
But
oh,
yeah.
sorry. Okay.
Do you guys want to do white balance before we get moving?
Oh yeah, sure, we can do white balance.
Thanks.
Craft power's on. Let me know when you're stable.
Look at how fast that little brittle star is moving. I've never seen them move that quickly. Okay, now it's just playing dead.
Your aft lights are not on. You want me to turn them on for you?
Yeah, downlight's on.
Down lights are on. Coming out with the craft. You stable?
Is the Zeus full wide?
Now it is.
All right, position the craft, stable.
So did we get an answer about the formation of these kinds of like little empty pools down here?
I think it's because of maybe lava pools, I think. I totally forgot to fact check that this morning.
No worries. All right.
Craft is
Looks
steel.
great. Okay, I am gonna, the camera's gonna go dark for a second. Oh no.
Will those monitors move that way a little?
It's a really good
Those ones,
These
well.
ones? Let's see.
Okay.
This
Jake,
is as
we're
much as I
moving up
could
north
shift it.
to our
I don't know
target.
what's going on here. That's good.
See,
I
we
can
got
see.
this ridge
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to, we have to go on top of it kind of right at the end, looks
Okay.
like. Would you prefer to go right at it and over? Or?
We can go right up it.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
All set, thank you.
It's a pretty cool ridge.
Okay. I'm gonna put this craft away.
We could, remember, Jake, we approached from the southwest.
For the old mooring, right?
Yeah, but the new ones, where did we put the new one? Was on the other side of it?
Just
To the north
20
of it?
meters to the northwest.
Okay, craft is secure.
Relative
Yeah.
to the old one?
So
Yeah.
we might want to move the boat. Well, you can go
Want to
straight
approach
in.
from the same angle?
I would, just because you see how the bathymetry runs northeast, southwest here?
Yeah.
I don't know how tall that is there where you're sneaking in, but
That little wall, it's only it's like 20 meters tall.
yeah.
But then it flattens out towards it once you get to the mooring. But
Yeah, so you might want to go 40 meters west or
right.
northwest and then go north. Go northwest. Go, just move the boat ahead.
Okay. 50 at 315. Sorry.
Sure, yeah.
That should take us like right here. Bridge nav. Good morning. I'm doing well. Can we have a ship move 50 meters at 315? Thank you.
Where are you using that? Would you like to have some rockin' upper camera video?
I like having the video here too.
Oops. Now you have video. Look at all that video. Can you zoom in on cinema camera? Wait. I want to show AJ something. Are you listening? So the focus here, it works like, you know, you did left and right. Can you turn on the downlights for a second,
Oh,
please?
you want them on under?
Yeah, I'm gonna play with this. So if you hold this,
it'll autofocus.
As long as you're holding the button down, there's buttons on all the knobbies.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah, I've learned all the buttons, like,
it
do
autofocuses. And it autofocuses as long as you're holding down on it. When you let go, then it's in manual focus, and then you can diddle the knob. That's how it's meant to work, whether it's actually working that way. So
yeah, there you go. That fish is out of focus.
If I hold it down, in theory, I just wanted to test this. That doesn't seem to be working.
Probably also doesn't know what to focus on.
315.
Oh, I saw it. So it is working. I saw the camera go in autofocus mode. So then when you let go, it should be back in manual focus, because obviously if it's in autofocus all the time, it's in and out. And then these ones.
Yeah, you have to press them for them to take. To take, yeah.
Yeah. Can you zoom in on cinema just a little?
I can do it.
Just a touch, just past the box there. And then you can turn your downlights off again if you want. I was just focusing on the box here. Wrong button.
Oh, cinema. Upper
Lower, sorry, lower.
Sorry.
I need to change my naming convention there. Just so the box is not in the image.
How's that?
One more. Oh wait, you know what? Has she fixed it yet?
What do you want the top one to look like?
Dealer's choice.
How's that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking at the bottom one here. So once it's done, the idea is you can just, if you want a picture.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for our, I'm gonna check my feed this morning, see what the on beach peeps have done. I get no information. Yeah, the icons don't do anything on this setup. No.
The upper autofocus, or I guess camera status. I guess these were intended to be like the 3 different cameras. Like this is one camera, this is another, this is another. That's why they all have zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah, we do have 3 cameras.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had, so we can do a hold to autofocus the upper one.
It says upper autofocus hold, but I don't think it works. But anyways, I haven't noticed the upper one ever out of focus, so. But yeah, I got these buttons, the take photo and the timer all work.
Do you get a take photo for the upper or no?
No. Just
okay. Yeah.
Timer start, video start, and then one take photo. Does it not take a photo with the upper when you go take photo? It's only the lower.
When you're in timer, it is. Just a single photo is meant for, so this has to do with, obviously you could take a photo or video, but the problem is then what do you do with it, right? So our pipeline so far is set up to process only still cams from the lower one, and that's driven by the scientists. They don't want that upper one because it's too far away and at an oblique angle. they want the lower one that has the kind of 2D or 3D. If it's top down, it's more 2D, and we're taking pictures of little small.
Yeah.
A lot of our deep water corals that we do with Science Steve, as we call them, are little guys.
Huh?
You don't have to push the encoder, right? You could also push the
Correct.
screen.
The screen
cool.
is a touch screen as well. You can buy that box at Best Buy. It's just a regular Stream Deck. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to like.
They're meant for content creators and Twitch streamers and such.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I just had a touch screen.
We're yeah, she's still. So what's happening technically there is the cameras, the Z-cam cameras that are in there take HTTP commands or wget.
Yeah.
So we're using some software called made by BitFocus called Companion, and as opposed to using the regular Stream Deck software, because we're running it on a Unix box. So the Stream Deck, the native software, which is really cool for those Stream Decks, only runs on Windows. And you can run the Companion software on top of the Stream Deck software, but if you're running on a Unix box, you just only run the Companion software. So it's more geared towards this kind of stuff that we're doing. So it has like the Pelco D stuff in it for regular pan and tilts, which is what Anna's using to control all the deck cameras and stuff with her little controller. But it does a lot of custom commands. So anyways, we have all the stock Z-cam web commands that go out, blast out to the camera. So when you're pushing that button, you're just doing a wget. You could do the same thing in a browser window, or a terminal.
Yeah.
But in the case of this, the Companion software also runs on a Raspberry Pi, so you can just burn the image to an SD card.
Come up this wall in a minute.
And stick that into the Pi, hook this to the Pi, so now that's a network device, because usually it needs to be plugged into a physical computer.
Yeah.
And there's not,
enough physical computers here.
Yeah, there's no physical computers here. It's all buttons and KVMs and monitors and keyboards.
For the viewer wondering about the forward view in the quad cam, so that's the bottom left quadrant, that is the cinema cam.
The WCA cinema camera.
What does WCA stand for?
It's a wide field camera array. So the system was originally designed to provide 270 degrees of video coverage, so immersive video. So you could basically, almost like a 360 camera, or a wide field like a GoPro has, the new GoPros. You see people riding down the road in their motorcycle or dune buggy or surfing or skydiving or diving or whatever, and they can see all around them.
Cool.
We've actually got some of the footage that we took last year on the subs around Honolulu submitted to IMAX.
Wow.
What? That's awesome.
Totally awesome. I believe that's right. And Jonathan got them submitted to some other thing that makes videographers really, really happy. I forget what it is. I'd never heard of it before. But.
Is that a black coral right up ahead?
I was just about to pull up my ID guide. I actually don't know what that long animal is that's hanging out.
Yeah. It's cool.
This cliff is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Look at all those layers.
So I'm going to try, I'm playing around with the cinema camera here. Ooh, that autofocused.
That looks really good.
So have you seen any cool stuff, Jake? Centered up in the, how we used to do. So we used to have,
Just did.
I know, I just took a picture, but probably a blurry one. We used to have our Thermocam on the porch there, and you guys could take pictures back here.
Pictures coming off of the wide field camera, probably a lot better quality.
Way better quality.
The other camera is
So,
almost as old as me.
help me out here, Anna. That image on the left, the lower camera, is it too bright now? Too?
I think it's actually looking pretty balanced.
It
It
looks
could,
great.
yeah.
It looks almost identical to the view on the right.
I am not a shutterbug, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think you're good. It's nicely balanced.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking.
It would be cool if there was a white balance feature on that camera.
There
with the
is.
hotkey.
Right now it's set to 6,000.
Yeah, it looks.
So I can, like, for example, set it. Ooh, that's too blue. That's too red. That's back where it was. AJ had it all set up. I'm just coming
that's
up
a
here,
macro
jacking
lens.
up all of his settings.
I just try to balance. I always just try to balance against this camera.
Yeah.
Let Anna guide me.
Aw.
She's the expert.
So you can definitely tell that's a macro lens in that camera because the way it focuses up close and not far away.
Well, the Zeus has a macro lens. The Zeus will actually focus on a speck of dust sitting on its lens.
Yeah.
It's got a way better optics than the cinema camera,
Well,
but it's
Zeus
also
has a
a
lens
meter
in it
long and
that's-
300 millimeters in diameter.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Would be pretty cool to put a telephoto lens in the wide field camera though.
The
The field of view would be too narrow at that point though.
one of the cool things about this camera, though, if I brighten it up, well, they're both light hogs because they're HD cameras, but the low light capabilities were a bit better with the square up on that thing, Jake. I'll take a picture of it. Oh,
So cool.
Roman
This is
arch
like
there.
Anna's Lost Mermaid City.
Totally.
Mermaid City
hope.
ruins.
Hiya, is that a sea spider or a crab?
Looks like a crab to me. If we're looking
A
at
little
the same
stretched
thing.
out.
Yeah, we are.
Are you waiting for the boat?
Yep.
Waiting for Atalanta to swing.
Do you got enough leash to move around it?
You can come down. Atalanta can come down.
Yeah, I can start the boat moving
Cool.
north too.
I'm going to turn on the, what is the proper word? Is it, I call it time stamp, but
Time lapse.
time lapse. Jonathan calls it an some people call it intervalometer. Oh, so we've increased it to every 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's moving way faster.
Now I'm going to pretend like I'm Jonathan. Zoom all over and get video of that as fast as you can. Faster. Faster. Faster.
I
You
can
want me to get
back
closer,
from
Jake?
saying that.
That's all right.
According to Jonathan, you can move the vehicle as fast as possible and get full coverage, and he'll get a good model, which produces really horrible, horrible video.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's not there.
Pretty
Jake,
sure
are you
that was a
comfortable if I
crab.
start moving north?
Man, I really wish that we had someone to explain how this happened.
How what happens?
Oh, just that crazy arch.
The geological
Yeah.
features.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I know basically how it happens.
Please enlighten us.
Yeah. Oh wait, hold on.
What is
Before
that?
you do, yeah,
Like
is
a
this
mooring?
like
What
a
is
giant
this?
coral or something? What is that?
Whoa.
No,
Looks
it's got to
like a
be
piece
one
of-
of ours. Can I stop this, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm worried about our memory.
Oh, you shouldn't. It's downloading.
Oh yeah, no, this is a.
Oh, unlimited?
So the way it works, you do, if you do
That is a
short
lot,
bursts,
yeah.
so now as soon as you stop it, it's downloading all that
Yeah.
at 10 gigabit. The
Yeah.
problem is if you leave it on for like 10 hours,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
And that's the reason it's
Piece of
sitting there
line.
reminding us.
Yeah.
See if we can get that rope in your thruster.
No thanks.
No, thank you. Backing away.
Don't
And
worry.
then see
Don't
if you
worry,
can get
Dan,
it back
it's-
out again.
Don't worry, Dan. It's floating rope.
We got that. So when the lava flows, it forms a crust on top, but underneath it's still hot. It's still flowing. And then as lava comes up through those tubes, it cools on the outside, but still flows on the inside and leaves arches. So then the whole top collapses. So everything that you see laying there was, it used to be like a, glass ceiling or glass floor. So it's all crumbled away.
Wow.
At least on axial, that's how it is. So there's places where, like, we go land the ROV, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out, literally.
Oh yeah, like look at this little
Go in there.
Yeah, that arch there.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish Hercules could fit in there and we could swim
Start
through.
your timer.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
A hobbit hole.
Hobbit hole, yeah, definitely.
Mermaid lair.
Um,
That's where Ursula lives.
part of this is like we want to test it. We're not getting enough. We need more.
Is anybody having a look at the results?
Yeah, totally.
Do we have access to them?
No.
Okay.
But we should get, hopefully today we'll get that on the fly we did.
Yeah,
on
Godzilla.
On Godzilla. Hopefully we'll get that.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Wow, this is amazing.
Herc could totally fit through there.
Yeah.
Full beans.
Oh my god, are we doing it?
Everything's relative to speed and force.
I was joking, it won't quite. But we have flown through and under some of the arches. The danger is they collapse. So you can see the kind of the crusty layer on the top there. So at one point that was everywhere, and then it's all fallen down. Leaves these really cool arches.
Yeah.
If you zoom around it, Jake, it's just like really quick if you got the time while we're waiting.
Yeah, are you guys...
You need it in both cameras though, lower and upper.
Is this an objective down here, or are you guys comfortable if I start moving the ship north?
No, you're gonna move the ship. Move the ship.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? How about now?
We're just killing time.
80 meters at 335, please. Thank you.
We're 80 meters at 335.
80 meters, 335. Roger.
What? Well, we still have to plug it in, which will take us a minute. So, I don't know, we're probably like an hour away from needing systems.
Okay, you got room on there? I don't have your numbers up here. Can you drop down there and get it in cinema too?
Yeah, a little leash.
Yeah, you're pulling me tight. It's not a twist.
You ain't got much delta either. What do you got under Atalanta?
6 meters. Oh, 18 meters.
18 meters.
18.
You can give him 5.
What do you see in the tether come up behind the vehicle?
Yeah, but he's pulling on it. So, or you can go tail to tail, spin Atalanta around, take your auto head off.
You want that, Jake?
Sure.
I'm gonna lose sight of you.
That's all right.
That's fine.
He needs the leash, otherwise he's dusting it up.
That looks like a doorway in a column.
That, I was just thinking the same thing. It's like a set for an underwater movie or something.
It really
You ever
is.
play Legend of Zelda?
You can move faster back around the other
Boys
side, Jake.
live in there.
Back towards the Argus. I mean Atalanta.
Wow.
Maximum coverage before the boat pulls tells you.
That is so wild.
Is there any way to grab video footage from the cinema cam, or can we just do it on Herc and Atalanta? Or Zeus?
There's a button here for it, but we don't really have the pipeline set up.
Okay.
And the experts on the beach that we have managing the pipeline are more interested in photogrammetry.
Got it, yeah.
The better video is going to be from Zeus because it's actively being managed by Anna or whoever is the video engineer that's there. The cinema camera is not managed, so there's no one managing the white balance and exposure and focus. And
just
zoom.
us dummies in the back row.
Yeah, and we're, you know, like if you watch the video engineer's hands, they're busy over there, especially when we're coming down and going up. Yeah, they're constantly on the iris, constantly on the focus. So they just don't have the bandwidth to manage two cameras at the same time. Well, they probably could, but we might suffer from our main video, which is the Zeus, 100%. So
this view is amazing with this lower view.
And depending on who you talk to, you can't really set up a subsea camera and just hit auto on it. You can, but the amazing video that we capture with Zeus, you know, you're not going to get that with all the buttons set on auto. So the upper and lower camera are focused on photogrammetry for making the models. And our ultimate goal there is to mesh the Norbit data with the photogrammetry.
Ooh, you can see right through it.
So if we were Norbiting this, you would get a high definition bathy map, but then you could overlay a 3D model, photogrammetry model.
That's really cool.
So the two, so you could then rotate it around. Like if I scan my coffee cup with my RealSense 3D camera, it's taken an actual photograph, but it's also shooting laser at it and making a mesh model. So when the model's finished, I can rotate the virtual image around, and it's a real legit image. It's not just a bunch of triangles.
You see it in the review there.
Thanks for all the insight on the cameras, Dan.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, some of the stuff we were... Last year was a huge amount of work by the whole team just to get the hardware on the vehicle, get it working, and get the software to control it, and then get the pipeline to get all the images from the cameras onto a hard drive,
including 2 days of pressure testing,
and then the hardware to process all of those images. We had a team, I don't know, there was 3 or 4 people in the data lab processing data coming off the ROV, and they were very tired by the end of the trip.
I would imagine.
So the photogrammetry, that gets sent coupled with Herc's telemetry as well? Or is it just the image and it gets reproduced from that?
No, that's part of the magic. So
they're all geo-referenced and...
Yeah. Not just a pretty picture.
Right.
But a geo-referenced pretty picture, so you know exactly where that is in real life.
There's a line between Herc and Atalanta.
That's a tether.
Is that the tether?
Yep.
Yeah.
Going straight up?
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a float on it.
Football float.
As long as it's not a mooring.
One of the viewers said the structure looks like the water temple in Ocarina of Time.
Exactly.
For any Zelda fans out there.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was also thinking the same thing.
Ocarina of Time is probably still and always will be my favorite game.
Which one?
Ocarina of Time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really in love with Breath of the Wild. That was...
I'm a big Majora's Mask fan myself. That was
Majora's Mask is my close second.
That was my era.
To bring Atalanta's heading back around.
Bringing Atlanta's heading round.
Remember, there's that rope there.
Rope.
There you are.
What are we doing? We're making our way to the mooring.
Yep.
You can see the ship track here. So they came up and over the cliff, and now the ship is tracking.
I'm 8 meters off bottom.
I thought we were just sightseeing.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah, you can come up on Atalanta. No. We don't need to be fully stretched out.
Because the mooring is such a hazard for the ROV, you want to be down away from it and then approach it.
That makes sense.
How long's the mooring?
300 meters.
100 meters. Yes, anyone watching the deck feed today would have seen our team preparing and launching
Hi,
the
can
mooring.
we cancel this ship move as well and
Those
alter
huge
to
sponges
4
on
or
that
5 meters
column-looking
to
thing?
north?
Ooh.
Thank you.
Wow. Very cool.
Are those sponges?
Those
Looks
are sponges,
like it.
yeah.
Yep.
Glass sponges?
Probably.
Not confident enough to say yes, but I can look it up after I
Quick pirouette if you got the
log this.
leash.
Totally.
You can see that when I turn on the timer here, it's giving you that annoying message.
Iris down on the cinema camera.
Does the
There we
does
go.
the upper cam contribute to the
Yes.
photogrammetry?
Yeah, you need